In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, one God, Amen. Today, today is the first Sunday of Abib, and usually the apostles' fast falls on that period, the first week of Abib. So the church always choose to read for us the readings concerning the service, concerning the church, concerning the challenges against the church, and concerning the victory that the church gains from God. Today, as we heard earlier in the Pauline epistle, St. Paul was talking to the Corinthian in his first epistle and confirming that he is an apostle. He has the rights of the apostles that they had to preach and to serve the gospel of God. And the gospel today is very interesting. I want to read that verse from the gospel according to St. Luke. He says, "The harvest truly is great, but the laborers are few. Therefore, pray to the Lord, or pray to the Lord of the harvest to send out laborers into his harvest." And every time I read this verse, I have few questions. Like, few questions come to my mind. So deacons, pay attention. Please pay attention, because you're also, there's something that touches your ministry as well. Why is the harvest so great? And why are the laborers are few? Why is the harvest so great, and why the laborers are few? Have you ever thought about this? Why is the harvest so great? What's our mission as Christians? What's our mission? Huh? To ما سمعتش. تهيألي سمعت. To spread the word. Thank you. As a Christian, okay, let me give you a simple example. If you are a student, what is your mission? To do what? Huh? To study. Student بيعمل ايه? بيstudy, right? Student بيعمل ايه? It doesn't get any easier than this. If you are Christian, what is your mission? Huh? From the name, to be what? To be Christ-like. Thank you. To be Christ-like. This is our mission. This is our mission. Okay? So, we are Christians, and our mission is to be Christ-like. Or at least to spread the image of Christ to everyone. Then why the harvest is great? Don't you know that the Christians around the world are more than any other religion, like Christian numbers, more than Hindu or Buddhist or مش عارف ايه? So why is the harvest still so great? Why? The reason is here, is right at this very moment. This is a harvest. This is a harvest. Our harvest is not just for those who don't know Christ. No. That's one branch of the harvest. But the other branch is to the people that comes into the church, because we are growing in our relationship with Christ. How can we grow if we are not fed? How can we be fed if we don't have someone who gives us the Word of God? How can we be in continuous progress in our relationship with God if we don't work on this relationship? These things are very crucial, because if you are in the church, yes, you are in a much better place than those who are not inside the church. But it doesn't mean that you're saved. It does not mean you're saved. You still have to work on yourself. And our duty, our job as laborers, who are the laborers? When Christ said, we already covered the part of the harvest. We said the harvest is those who are in the church and those who are not inside the church. The outside the church, mafhumadi, we understand it. They don't know Christ, and we need to give them the image of Christ or show them the image of Christ. And the one inside the church is that we cannot be stagnant, we cannot be static in our relationship with Him. We have to be continuously growing. That's why the church is always serving its members. Type. That's one part. Then why the laborers are so few? يعني يا رب, task is very difficult because the harvest is so big, or actually it's truly great. That's the words of the gospel. The harvest is truly great. So at least send qualified laborers, send number of laborers that can match this kind of harvest. I'll give you an example. To those of you who work under certain managers who like to overload them with work, how do you feel when you feel like your shoulders are crushed with work? How do you feel? Huh? Thank you. Frustrated. What else? Tired. How else do you feel? Overwhelmed? I feel sometimes when the burden is too big on my shoulders, I feel so weak and I feel so little. You know, when you have a task and it's too big and your powers are so limited, and you try to do something, it's not good enough. You know, it's not enough. You remember a few months ago this the big ship that got sideways stuck in the Suez Canal, and you remember this little guy who was trying to free the ship from the front with the crane. You remember that? الراجل بتاع الكراكة. He's so tiny compared to the ship, and everyone was mocking him. Yeah, a lot of people made fun of this guy, but he had one job. He had one job. It seemed impossible, but he still did his job. What is it? He said, no promises, but I will do my job. I'll just try to free the front of the ship. And the ship was freed. Not because just he did his job, it's because of everyone did his job. This was part of it. Now, back to the point. Why are the laborers so few if the harvest is so great? Let me make it. You think this is hard enough? Read the next verse. Then Christ tell them, go your way, behold, I send you out as lambs among wolves. Okay, so the harvest is so great, and the laborers are few, and the conditions are not even easy to work with. It doesn't end there. He takes you even to a higher level. What else he says? He says, carry neither money bag, knapsack, nor sandals, and greet no one along the road. طب يعني الharvest is so great and the laborers are so few, and you send us like sheep among wolves, and you don't يعني even if we have some supplies that we can bring with us, you're asking us not to depend on anything. How does this job look like to you? How does it feel? It's impossible. It's not doable. I cannot do this. You know, it's not just I can't do it. What kind of powers does a sheep have in front of a wolf? Think about it. And Christ chose a sheep. You know why he chose that animal, the sheep? Huh? It's one of those animals that's completely dependent on man. It only grows in pastures. The sheep has no strength to run, has no horns to defend themselves, and even if they have horns, they're just cute horns, you know, they can't really do any damage to any animal, you know. The sheep has not, he's so helpless. He's completely dependent. And that's the answer. I will send you like a sheep amongst the wolves. And this is his message. This is his message. The harvest is so great because We have work inside and outside. The laborers are few because he had to filter them. Those who enter the field of the service, depending on their qualifications, they usually fail. They usually fail miserably. It's not about how much qualified you are. It doesn't work like that. Doesn't matter how well spoken you are, how smart you are, how intelligent you are. We just established that it is an impossible job. Then we look for non-qualified people? No, that's not what I'm saying. We look for qualified people, but your qualifications is not going to be the reason why you're able to serve. Your qualifications are not going to be the reason why you are labeled as laborer. No. Your qualification will be something that God will increase. Can you tell me what were the qualifications of the disciples to go with such a message to the whole world? The 70 that he appointed, what were their qualifications? What did they do? Some of them were tax collectors, others were fishermen, some were simple people, you know. They didn't know much. But he sent them. Told them not to take any money bag or knapsacks or even extra shoes. Why is that? Because he wanted to teach them, if I send you, and this is the message I want to stress on today. If you are the laborer in God's field to do his harvest, remember two things. First, it's not your harvest, okay? It's not your harvest, it's his harvest. So it's his job to take care of the harvest. You are just a laborer. Put things in perspective, okay? Put things in perspective. Number two, it's his field, it's his power, it's his grace that's working with us. Every other qualifications that we have work along the way. I would like to remind you with this, and I conclude with this. St. Paul, when he went to Athens, Athens were the center of the wisdom of earth back then. Any wise man, you will find them in Athens. What do they do when they sit in gatherings like this? They don't pray. They don't do this. The prayer is something else. But they sit and they talk about wisdom. They argue. They examine one another, how much knowledge you know. That's what they did all day long. And they just love to talk. And St. Paul entered the city. He looked around him. He saw so many idols. He saw a lot of gods that are not, none of them was even the God of Israel. And his soul was like, he felt like it waga, you know. He wanted to do something, you know. He felt jealous, zealous. And he told them this, I come to you not by the wisdom of the words. Why? You are a philosopher. You are well educated. You are very, very well qualified. No. I chose not to use this qualification right now. Knowing Christ, and knowing what to serve, how to serve, I depend on his hand. I come to you and I proclaim to you Christ is God, the one that you say that he cannot die. He came, became man, and he died. This is his message. This is Christianity message. The Greek people looked at him and they started to laugh at him. It's like, you're kidding, right? God does not die. This is the thing. The message of Christ is a very interesting one because it depends on who sent us, not on the carrier of the message. The gospel of today is encouragement for everyone who is trying to serve. The gospel today is encouragement for everyone who is trying to serve. Is encouragement to everyone who thinks that the task is almost impossible or is very impossible, that he cannot do it. It's not about you. It's about him. You know, sometimes deacons come and they say, Abuna, I just feel so, or even servants, I feel so stressed and I can't do this. And, you know, the first thing we say, it's not about you, it's about Him. Do your little thing, do your little part, and He will help you with the rest. And those who experience that, they can agree. They agree to that. Those who have experienced that firsthand, they agree. Those who are so scared to even try, they never experience that. But here is my request from everyone today. He said the harvest is so great and the laborers are few. Then He gives us a commandment. He says, pray that the Lord of the harvest send out laborers into His harvest. This is our prayer. The harvest is great and the laborers are few. We always need prayers for God to send laborers. Not because God cannot find laborers. No, He can. But He wants us to have the blessing of participating, to feel the unity that we talked about a few weeks ago. The unity. If you don't have kids in Karaza, you're still required to pray for the service. Why? Because this is the unity. If you don't have kids in college, you have to pray for the service in the college age, because, again, this is how we feel united. We're all in one ship, and we're all connected. We're all united in His body. To Him is glory forever and ever.